Everyone in town thought Emma was making the biggest mistake of her life. A woman like her, educated, elegant, and beautiful, going on a date with him. A broke mechanic who didn't even own a proper car. And when he showed up and drove her, not to a fancy restaurant, not even to a decent cafe, but to a cheap old diner with flickering neon lights and rusty chairs, people were sure the date was over before it even started. But what happened inside that diner in the next 2 hours would leave every single person who doubted him speechless and change Emma's life forever. Emma Lawrence was used to being treated like a princess, not because she demanded it, but because society expected it. Coming from a family of wealthy lawyers and doctors, she was always taken to rooftop dinners, 5-star restaurants, and places where the napkin sometimes cost more than a full meal elsewhere. So when she agreed to a date with Liam Carter, a man she met at the community center while volunteering, her friends laughed. "He's probably going to take you to a food truck," one mocked. "No worse gas station hot dogs," another added. Emma only smiled. There was something about Liam, a quiet strength in his eyes, a gentleness in his voice that made her ignore all the noise. But even her confidence started to shake when he pulled up in a slightly dented pickup truck and nervously said, "Hope you don't mind something simple tonight." Minutes later, they stopped in front of Maggie's Diner, the oldest and cheapest eatery in town. Neon sign buzzing, one waitress inside, a couple of truckers eating fries. Emma froze. Was this a mistake? Was she being naive? But then she noticed Liam looked ashamed. His hands trembled slightly as he opened her door. I know it's not fancy," he said softly, "but this place means a lot to me. I wanted to bring you somewhere real." Something in his voice made her stay. They sat down, the seats creaked. The smell of fried onions filled the air, no background music, just silence until Liam suddenly stood up. "Wait, before we order, there's something I need to do." Emma watched, confused. He walked to the counter, whispered something to the old lady working there, and then, to her shock, he walked into the kitchen. What on earth was he doing? 10 minutes later, he came back carrying 2 plates, not with diner food, but with beautifully cooked homemade pasta. Emma stared at him. Liam scratched his head, embarrassed. "I used to work here as a kid. The owner, Maggie, she practically raised me when I had nowhere to go. I asked her if I could cook you the only dish I know well. It's not restaurant level, but it's from the heart." Emma didn't blink, didn't speak, didn't even smile. She was too busy trying not to cry. This wasn't just a date. This was a piece of his soul. She picked up her fork and took a bite. It wasn't 5-star food, but it tasted better than anything money could buy. The night continued with stories, not of achievements or wealth, but of struggles and survival. Liam told her how he lost his parents young, how Maggie took him in, how he worked multiple jobs just to stay afloat, and how this diner was the only place that ever made him feel like he belonged. For the first time in her life, Emma wasn't being impressed, she was being moved. But just when she thought the night couldn't get any more meaningful, Liam stood up again. He walked outside and waved. Within seconds, cars began pulling up. Emma panicked, was something wrong? Then she saw it. One by one, people stepped out, dozens of them. Old men, young kids, single mothers, college students, even a police officer still in uniform. All entering the diner. All smiling at Liam. Maggie turned to Emma and whispered, "These are the people he helps, quietly. Every week he brings someone here, buys them a meal, listens to their story, helps them find jobs or places to stay. He never tells anyone. Didn't even want me to say anything tonight, but I couldn't let you walk away without knowing who he really is." Emma's heart stopped. He didn't bring her to a cheap diner. He brought her to his legacy. In that moment, Liam came back and sat down shyly. "Sorry if this was too much. I wanted you to know the real me before you decide if you want a second date." Emma didn't answer. She simply reached across the table, took his hand, and whispered, "I don't want a second date. I want every date." Love isn't measured by price tags or fancy places. Sometimes, the one who appears to have the least has the biggest heart of all.